Hello, everyone. Welcome to the review. Just came out of theater not too long ago after watching Five Nights at Freddy. It is 8:54 p.m. As per usual, it'll be spoiler free. If you happen to like the content of my channel, hit the subscribe button below and spread the word to your friends and family. Provide a like and provide a comment if you're interested. Before I get into the details of this review, let me go ahead and state that from the initial onset, I knew next to nothing about Five Nights at Freddy. Whenever I heard the title, my immediate reaction was, is this a sequel to that god awful Tom Green film, Freddy Got Fingered? That's exactly what I was thinking. But the information that was relayed to me from coworkers and friends who are very much well versed within the knowledge of the extensive lore of Five Nights at Freddy, I know the basic concept of this dilapidated Chuck E. Cheese inspired establishment that served as a popular hangout fun park, if you will, for during the 80s, and where these kids went missing and their souls or bodies have possessed these animatronic mascots, very similar to the Chuck E. Cheese mascots. And from then on, it's basically uh, the security guards in question happened to survive Five Nights at Freddy. Well, this in particular, the story takes a much different approach, as is since it's a film, it's not so much about surviving a consecutive number of days at Freddy's. It's simply about surviving whenever they go into this pizzeria. It stars Josh Hutcherson and Matthew Lillard. Needless to say, I've always enjoyed the work of Matthew Lillard. He's one of the most underrated actors in cinema, and I find him to just be simply wonderful. It's hard to believe that this is the same man that portrayed Shaggy in the first two Scooby Doo films. Josh Hutcherson, as you know, is from the Hunger Games trilogy, and so when it came to the film, I must say that I had no expectations from it, given that my less than zero familiarity for the overall storyline. I was just thinking, okay, this is going to be just another one of those cheap knockoff horror films that really just you don't take seriously, and in a way it is. But after watching the film, I must say that there was a lot of surprise from me, and needless to say, one of the one of the negative perspectives that I have is that you could definitely tell that they were attempting to more or less experiment as to how they were going to present the horrors and the violence. And when it comes to the horror and how it was presented, uh, the fact that it didn't really leave a lot of impact is what initially has me kind of, I guess, not necessarily feeling it to a certain extent. And it's not an overall perspective of saying, you know what, this absolutely makes the film miserable, because it wasn't. But I'm hoping that within the sequel, they're able to just say, you know what, let's go all out. Because if anything, the PG-13 rating is what really held back from it. They should fully embrace the absurdity of the animatronics being possessed by these children, and full out to say, you know what, let's do what Child's Play did, or Puppet Master, or let's just go ahead and just really make it something that is going to be memorable. And while it is memorable, I just think that hope if there is a DVD of the director's cut, maybe there's going to be more violence presented. Other than that, one of my favorite highlights actually is how they presented it, how the animatronics came into play. They were probably one of the most disturbing aspects of the story, because I love the fact that it wasn't relying on the overusage of CGI like a lot of these horror films in the past have done as of late. They just want to make the animatronics CGI, and the fact that it's all done by practical effects, and they convey a lot of emotions with their movements and with the puppetry and the eyes in and of itself. I just thought, man, this is really amazing as to how the creepy and unsettling, disturbing that these animatronics, the way they're moving and how they're interacting with the characters and their environment and the atmosphere. They add to the atmosphere, and that is the overall beauty of this film. Josh Hutcherson, I think he does a great job as per usual when it comes to his acting performances. You don't see a lot of Matthew Lillard, which was quite a disappointment for me, because he is the bits that you do see of him, absolutely creepy. I mean, just sends chills down the spine. You just know that there's something off kilter about this man. And needless to say, I thought the little bit we see of him, he did an amazing job. Hopefully, there's more of him to come in the sequel. And from what also has been relayed to me from those who are familiar with the story, it is all over the place. And this film is all over the place, but it's not. I'm assuming that it's done deliberately as a means of being presented as a love letter to the fans, and there's nothing wrong with that. But overall, Five Nights at Freddy, I'm gonna go ahead and state that I did enjoy it. I thought it was fairly entertaining. It wasn't anything that made me go, "Oh my gosh, the greatest film in the world, is life altering, it's deep, philosophical." It's nothing anything like that. I did appreciate the effort that it went into how the animatronics were conveyed and how the atmosphere was intricate as far as the flashback sequences were concerned, and how, despite it being this over the top concept, you did have some powerful acting performances from Josh Hutcherson and even Matthew Lillard. So, from that point of view, from my perspective, in my opinion, I thought Five Nights at Freddy is definitely one of the more entertaining and well adapted video game series into a live action format. So, having said that, I'm going to go ahead and state that my final review, my final rating is going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and say that Five Nights at Freddy's about an 8 out of 10. You know, nothing horrible. Just no, it wasn't anything that made me just feel as if that I witnessed the greatest thing in the world. And I do believe maybe that's also the initial purpose behind how this film was approached. It was simply saying, you know what, let's go ahead and just take a chance to see how the audience responds to this. Fans, I'm sure, are going to love it, and I do believe that there's a chance that those who don't know the story are going to enjoy it as well, much like I did. So this is going to make me research the lore and familiarize myself even more. That way, whenever discussion is abound, I'm able to be as accurate as I possibly can with the material that I know. So once again, I'm gonna go ahead and say that Five Nights at Freddy's a 2 thumbs up, 8 out of 10. I highly recommend it. Please, in the comment section, if you have watched it, let me know what you thought about it, or if you are familiar with the games, and provide a like and spread the word to your friends and family. And the next review is gonna be on the Marvels, which is coming out this Friday. Hope you all take care, and peace out.